This is the Thrive Business Accelerator, TBA. It's a 12-week program. It's going to be for supporting the scaling up and growing of the businesses. And it's open to Thrive entrepreneurs. So basically, people who have graduated boot camp prior to March of 2020. But there will be educational workshops. You guys will have lab time to work on the business, mentorship, access to capital, and then there's a capstone project. This is new to me, so if anybody wants to elaborate anything briefly on this slide, it'll help out for everybody else.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So super exciting. It's not, well, it does seem like every year we're rolling out new programs, but this one's a big one. And I don't think anyone who's here tonight is eligible for our first pilot that'll be launching in April, because like Ramal said, it's for boot camp graduates who graduated prior to March of last year. So these are entrepreneurs that have launched their business, they've been in business for a little while, and they're ready and looking to scale up and grow and take their business to the next level. So there's going to be education, structured lab time, mentorship, and access to capital. So we're just sharing this with you all because it's something that we're excited about. And yeah, just keep your eye out for more information to come.
Right, appreciate
And
that. Thank
something to look forward to for you bootcamp entrepreneurs that you can participate in the future, because your journey with RMFI does not end with bootcamp.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Um,
Also, don't forget to, Patrick, did you want to throw something in there? All right.
I like how that sounded. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, beautiful. So also mark your calendars. We're going to have the boot camp graduation and the Ideal Lab pitch competition and happy hour celebration April 8th on Thursday, and that'll be at 5:30 to 8 p.m. We'll go over some of the rules of the retro. So super familiar to the entrepreneurs. Tonight we'll go over the management and the financial pillars. And as you can see here in the slide, it's the last two pillars to kind of support your business, same way we do in this structure. The first retrospective covered the marketing and the operations. The big rocks that you guys will see presented on our slides tonight will be the launch and ongoing strategy, the capital needs, the KSIs, and then especially the revenue, where we'll cover the cost, the profit, and cash flow assumptions. So this is probably the toughest part of the retro, and this will be for the entrepreneurs, doing all 9 slides in only 6 minutes. So tonight's virtual format, the entrepreneurs will present, and I'm just a DJ. I'll control the slides. But in between each session, we'll have an opportunity for the mentors to fill out their electronic scoring forms. Each presentation has its own form, so we just be cognizant of which link is being sent out and which link you guys are filling out to make sure it matches the appropriate entrepreneur. And we'll post those in the chat before each presenter. During the feedback forum, it's a really great time for everybody to just network. That's what business owners and entrepreneurs probably do the best here at RMMFI. So those conversations have a tendency to kind of take off on their own. And that'll be just a great chance for everybody to talk. So the feedback should be high level, positive, and honest. And it's easy to say that. I actually had one of the entrepreneurs look at one of my papers, and I got feedback. So receiving the feedback is a little bit different. But I appreciate the help, Panya. Thank you. So what's at stake? It'll be $600 towards your launch loan eligibility. At the end of boot camp, when entrepreneurs graduate, they have an opportunity of taking out a loan with RMMFI, and this will be $600 towards that loan. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to kind of take a quick look at the presentation order, so you know who you'll be going after, and just give you a chance to kind of warm up. But also you see the mentoring teams that are behind the entrepreneurs, and we definitely couldn't do it without you. Appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Ramales. Just a quick add to the entrepreneurs who are presenting. Remember, Patrick will be keeping time tonight. So Ramales mentioned that 6-minute time frame. So keep your eye on the chat where Patrick will private message you when you have 2 minutes remaining and when you have 1 minute remaining to hopefully keep you on track, because it's a lot of information to present, but we got to get through it.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll get started with the presentations here. The first presenter will be Antonio with S Negocios. Antonio, I saw you were on the call. Are you ready to do your presentation?
Pretty as can be.
All right.
All right, study put. Hi, my name is Antonio Soto, and my business is S Negocio. We provide business and accounting support in Spanish to Latino business owners like you. Let us support you with your business and accounting needs so you can do what you like best. S Negocio wants you to own a business instead of a job, and we provide website support, business and technology for you to own a business instead of a job. Please give us a call. We started operations late October 2020. And as many business owners, we are learning the hard way some things and getting better at others. And some of the challenges that we are mastering in to provide our growth is mastering a marketing tool. We chose to use Active Campaign. Also, we are looking into mastering an appointment system and QuickBooks. On both cases, we are looking at having a dashboard to have a lookout or an overview of the progress that we're making. And an immediate hope is working on getting standardized procedures. So we do have goals in this year ahead. And the first one is make sure that we are covered and purchase a liability insurance. That's going to happen very soon. Also, we are transitioning from mostly pro bono work into a charging or for-profit work. And that's one of my main goals, kind of switch that soft hard and getting better at charging customers. The 6 months mark, mastering the campaign, Active Campaign tool, which is the marketing tool, and start promotions with text messages, which is the predominant method of communication with my clients. At the 12 months, we are shooting to hit the mark of 60 families or businesses that we serve. So far, we are at 42. And obviously, we're looking at increasing the revenue. So we're shooting for $30,000 revenue mark in a year. Some of the KSIs that we are working on, they're marketing, operations, and financials. And on the marketing, we would like to have a 4% conversion rate from sales to leads to sales. On the operations, we are looking for having a 70% utilization rate. And that it is including some time for education, billing, clients, sales, pro bono work, and actually doing the work. And eventually, when we have employees, management will be a part of that benchmark that we need to mark. Standardized procedures is definitely in the lookout for me. That is a way that we can ensure others that can help with my business employees are successful. On the financial, we are looking at starting $500 a month revenue, but having a monthly revenue, a benchmark is our goal. We are looking at having $500 a month forecast revenue, and that is based on 10 hours availability that I have, a $50 an hour rate. And that it will be mainly work on building websites and providing consulting work. Our because we're a service company, mainly our cost is based in right now on me, but I'm figuring out $25 an hour for future helper employees, and based on a 10-hour a month so far, and that comes to $250 in cost of goods sold. Our cost is mainly driven by technology, and the fixed cost is close to $3,000, and mainly is marketing tools, communication tools, and website hosting. The profit assumptions right now are based on a break-even point, which is $500 a month, where main of that is going to go to cover cost of goods sold if we have additional help. And basically the fixed cost monthly will be $250. So that comes to a net zero right now. And we're hitting that mark already. We wish always to have the best cash flow assumptions. So we're shooting for net 15. Sometimes that is not possible because of the population that we're helping. It is struggling, and we understand that, but we hope to have that net 15. And building a $30,000 reserve fund for 6 months of worth of fixed cost. Anything that we make above that, it will be reinvested in our company, mainly in the form of hiring or producing more hours for hopefully a young person within the neighborhood that we can not only provide some earning, but training on a skill that it could be very beneficial for them. Our capital needs are based on $6,000, and mainly $3,000 of that is to kind of build that reserve to provide us the safety net or the cushion to make sure that we have 6 months worth of expenses covered. But the rest, it will be for the year expense of marketing tools, communication, and the hosting of the 25 people that we are helping at no cost. Hopefully, all of that can be either self-supported or in the case of Rocky Mountain Microfinance providing that opportunity of the loan, it will be considered. Thank you again. My name is Antonio. This is Ese Negocio. Please visit us at our website, www.esenegocio.com, and get a free consultation. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Antonio. Appreciate that. Round of applause. You had to look at the screen.
Nice work. Woo!
All right, cool. So
Good job.
while we're giving the judges, the mentoring teams, an opportunity to judge, Patrick, you're putting the next link in the Slack, the next link in the chat, correct?
Mhm.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. We'll give them a chance to continue to fill out their forms, but if anyone has maybe just one or two brief questions for Antonio before we move on to the next slide or the next presenter.
Be shy.
Antonio, you mentioned that you're already in business now, taking on and doing clients currently now, right?
Correct.
And
We
you
have
do-
helped 42 clients already.
You do more like, I heard you say, like accounting and bookkeeping. Is that something like you're?
Well, the initial intention was to provide an opportunity for Latino immigrants, especially undocumented Latino immigrants who lost hours and they were laid off, to turn their skills into businesses. But the reality is that I thought, oh, okay, I will help them with accounting and finance and they will do great. But the reality is that their starting point is way below what I thought it was going to be. So they need help with having a website, having Google search and other things. So I managed to kind of learn some of those opportunities and provide that to them at no cost. But we need to transition into making revenue for the sustainability of my company.
All right. Thank you very much. So if all the forms are filled out, we'll move on to the next entrepreneur. Excuse me. Chanel's going to be next. Chanel, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
As ever. Hello, everyone. My name is Chanel Marshbank, and I am the owner of Alternative Essence. Alternative Essence is we provide complementary alternative therapies to seniors living in assisted living facilities here in the Denver metro area. Okay, so key items for us to launch. So I need to get my Reiki practitioner insurance, open up bank account. Also, I'd like to start on for my independent contractors, the paperwork to be completed for them, just agreement contract for the independent contractors. I also need to get payment reader, so Square card, and also sign up for a CRM system so I can start tracking all of my information. All right, so ongoing strategy. So from, as you can see, month 1 through 3, main goal is to obtain a retirement home. So I'm able to start doing, because I need to do 40 sessions per month to, hit my goals for my income. Months 4 to 6, you see, I would like to obtain a second retirement home. By this time, I should be looking into hiring a marketing associate, as well as adding 3 more contractors to the business. 6 to 12, 5 retirement homes. And by the 12th month, I would like to have 12 independent practitioners working for Alternative Essence. All right, so let's see. The revenue assumptions looks like we need to do 40 sessions per month, charging $60 per session, which with doing that, my average monthly revenue will be at $2,400 first 2 months. And as you can see, the goal is to pretty much double it every 2 months as I'm growing the business. So by the 4th month, I would like to be at $4,800 for my revenue, gradually growing each month. All right, now you're looking at cost of goods. So as I just put, the services will be $60 per session, 40 sessions a month. And the fixed costs, luckily, it's pretty low. So my fixed monthly costs would be at $602.92. And we pretty much, how we got that was just basically, phone, education. I really don't have a lot of fixed costs because I am a mobile service. I will be going to the facilities. So pretty much I'm just setting up shop wherever they allow me to. All right. Let's see. It seems like some slides aren't on there, but that's okay.
Let me double check. Let me make sure I didn't skip one for you. Was it the cost assumptions and then the profit assumptions, right?
Mm-hmm. I had like I had one chart, but I think I had like 2. But I mean, if it's going in order, that's okay. If it's doing what. All right, so gross profit, what will be left over once everything is paid? My monthly break-even point will be at 18, I'm sorry, 1880 point at 70. Sorry, I'm getting all confused. So 1,180 and 70 cents. So where I got that from is, you can see the gross, what I said before, I should be at 2,400 at monthly. And once I'm taking care of all of the monthly COGs, that will then leave me with my break even point. All right. So the length of cash flow cycle, it pretty much is pretty instant one, because I do a service, I get paid. So it shouldn't take too long for me to get paid. Pretty much 1 to 2 days, depending on how long it takes the credit card readers to pay me. Also with me, like I said before, due to the low costs, I only need to do 40 sessions per month to cover my monthly costs. And let's see, hiring a marketing specialist sooner or bringing on an independent contractor. That's what I'd like to do if there's any net profits with the business. Continue to add to the business. All right, my capital needs. So as you see, just the startup is not much. $504 is basically just what I need to get going. My funding services, myself, family, and thinking maybe the seed loan with RMMFI. So just depending on how everything looks, once I get everything going, what my needs are, then I'll go from there. So again, thank you. And I'd like to add, Alternative Essence wants to help all seniors live their best life. We believe that living is for the living. I'm sorry. Yes, living is for the living. Live your best life with Alternative Essence, LLC.
Woo! Great job, Chanel.
Thank you.
Love that tagline.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So if anyone has at least just one question for Chanel while the judges complete their surveys.
Chanel, what's the one thing that you've learned in boot camp that has helped you the most so far?
I'd say pretty much when I started with boot camp, like just my idea of what I wanted to do, like it was somewhat along these lines, but with my mentors talking through things, it pretty much geared me to where I'm headed. And so I'm just grateful for that, because, I never would have thought about taking it this route, but I love it. I love the concept of it.
That's awesome. I love to hear the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And also, in preparation for our next entrepreneur, it's actually going to be Ginger. Unfortunately, Felicia wasn't able to make it tonight, so we'll have to check in with her later on. So Patrick, if you want to put Ginger's link in the chat.
I have a question for Chanel. This is Felix. How y'all doing?
Hello there.
Hey, Chanel. I got a lot of questions for you, but I think I'll jump in later.
Okay.
So I don't take up too much time.
Great.
But I didn't hear what your split will be with the contractors. And I also didn't hear what your draw would be after you make your monthly goal.
So the split, as you saw, that I'm charging $60 per session. So basically, I would pay them $25 for $25 a session, and then the rest I would keep. So that they're getting $25 an hour,
Okay.
in which each session should be an hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
Is that the standard that a Reiki practitioner would receive if they're working in a wellness center or a spa?
That's pretty much like average what you would charge. But basically, if you're working on your own, an average Reiki service is about $55 to charge. So it's pretty much half of what they would do if they were, on their own.
Okay, we'll chat later. I was just curious to see where your head was at with that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Definitely. And thank you for the questions, and thank you for keeping it brief. All right. And just like you guys heard, everyone will have an opportunity to network later on during some of the sessions. Our next entrepreneur is Ginger. Ginger, are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ginger, owner of the San Luis Trading Company. We sell new and upcycled clothing, shoes, and health and beauty products for the entire family on various online platforms, and at a discounted rate for up to 60%. In 2021, we have a threefold mission: to support the reduction of consumer waste by extending the life of pre-owned clothing through our upcycle program, to establish stability and sustainability of the business by building on our existing inventory, and are seeking to jumpstart highly scalable liquidation inventory to become a wholesale distributor in 2022. Want to know more? You can find us at one of our online platforms at San Luis Trade, or by email at moreforyourmoney5@gmail.com. As we get closer to the end of boot camp, I will be focusing on creating a strong foundation for the company. Since my business is already started, we will make sure that our current inventory is accounted for and there's a solid inventory system in place. We will also take a look at the operation system to check for efficiency and ask, does this flow? Does it allow for maximum number of products to be pushed through and still meet high customer standards? We will also need to buy additional storage and bins for our new and upcoming inventory purchase in April. The last thing that I will focus on is the search for the best resources for new inventory. Okay, for the year to come, we will be focusing on the next two phases of the company. Phase one includes two objectives. The first objective is to build stable processes for our current bread and butter inventory. Building on these already existing products will help the company become sustainable. The goal is to sell a minimum of $225 items each month. The second objective embraces the opportunity to utilize the 2,500 RMFI launch loan. These funds will help jumpstart the highly scalable liquidation inventory. For the same amount of work as our bread and butter products, we can scale much higher with the same amount of effort and eventually offer liquidation products as a wholesale distributor in the Denver area. In phase two, the objective will be to double the liquidation inventory. The cash flow from our investment of liquidation merchandise in phase one will allow us to make much larger purchases in October, $5,000 to be exact. To ensure that the company is growing the right way, I will be keeping track of the three KSIs. Our marketing goal is to double our current sell-through rate of 25%. We will do this by utilizing promotional listings and sharing inventory on Poshmark. In other words, sharing our closet. We will also take a look at operations and ask ourselves if the current operation system allows us to keep up with the increasing number of listings and still be able to maintain a minimum of a 98 positive feedback rating. After all, a happy customer means a healthy business. The third KSI will be to maintain the number of sales to cover the cost of goods sold, fixed costs, owner's draw, and growth. We will ensure this by selling 267 items each month. The company has two streams of revenue. The first is from our new and upcycled clothing items. Each item sells an average of $29.40 per item. With 225 selling each month, the total revenue is $6,615. Our liquidation products sell for an average of $30 per unit. After selling 114 units per month, there is a $3,420 revenue per month, making a combined revenue of $10,035 each month. Although it appears that our clothing line brings in much more revenue, to the right, you will see the potential growth that our liquidation line will have after making the first and second liquidation purchases in April and October. The cost of goods sold for both lines of merchandise will cost $3,549 each month. The clothing has a cost of goods sold for $9.94, and the liquidation products will cost $11.51 each. The fixed costs include marketing and photography, the fixed costs are to the right and include marketing and photography, operating costs, skilled labor, platform cost, and an owner's draw, making it a total of $2,890. So how much do we need to sell each month to break even? After taking our fixed costs of $5,098 and dividing it by the average sales price minus the cost of goods sold, we will need to sell 267 units each month. The company gets paid every 1 to 2 weeks or when the customer receives their order and submits a rating. To ensure that we have the cash on hand to pay bills, we make sure to sell 225 units each month for our basic costs and 260 to pay for the cost of our new inventory. As of now, all net profit earned by the business is reinvested for the liquidation purchases we make every few months. And finally, our capital needs. The San Luis Trading Company will need to cover capital needs in both phases of the company over the next year. In phase 1, there will be a cost of $750 for to build on our current inventory, $2,500 for the first liquidation purchase in April, and $310 for storage. During phase 2, we will be making our second major inventory purchase of $5,000 and buying storage as well for $700. I will use the cash flow from what the business is currently bringing in and the RMFI launch loan. And that's about it. Again, you can reach us at moreforyourmoney5@gmail.com or reach us, or you can find us at San Luis Trading Company on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, or Amazon.
Great presentation,
Oh,
Ginger.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ginger.
All right, beautiful. Does anyone have at least just one question for Ginger before we move forward?
Ginger, which seller's platform is your favorite and has like the most benefit to you, the seller?
I would say Poshmark. eBay is more complicated, but they do have a larger audience. So on eBay, you can do promoted listings and, run weekly sales. But on Poshmark is more social and personal. So you can actually communicate with the people more. And I don't know. I think Poshmark is my favorite.
That's great. I love the social aspect. I think social commerce is the next big wave.
And Amazon is pretty cold. It's all about business and numbers.
Gotcha.
All right. Beautiful presentation. Thank you. Appreciate it. Our next presenter is going to be Hassan Thomas. All right, we got the link in the chat. Just double checking that. Hassan, how are you doing? You're the last entrepreneur I couldn't find on the screen there when I was doing the attendance.
I think I was the second to last. I was here when you was talking about the last person you was looking for.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
beautiful.
don't make me look too bad now.
Hey, I can never do that, man.
I'm already going after Ginger. She had that great presentation with the charts and everything, man.
I can never do that. All right, we're ready to hear your presentation.
All right, all right. So hello everyone. My name is Hassan Thomas, CEO and founder of FY Fly. FY Fly stands for Your Information, Financial Literacy and Investing. And our main goal is to promote financial literacy through our app, website, podcast, and online curriculum to our main target market of high school, college, and recent grad students. So they may live the life of their dreams and also to decrease the likelihood of them making poor financial decisions. All right, so some of the key tasks that we must get done in order to launch by boot camp is the app and website development. We're about 85% complete. That's key because without that we can't move nowhere. And then the next is the security protocols. Since we are going to be dealing with people's finances and things, security is top notch. A main priority for me. Number three is to execute the marketing plans. So that's going to be another key factor for us because since we are an online digital business, since our target market is high school, college, and recent grad students, you have to go to where the eyes are, and the eyes are on social media, and marketing is going to be very key for us as well. And then also doing our soft launch, to get back feedback and to make adjustments from that feedback. Some of our key goals that we want to hit for the first 3 months is to complete the podcast. We're releasing the podcast April 2nd will be the first episode. I'm actually going to be interviewing my grandma. She raised her credit score to over 700 plus from listening to my podcast and just me helping her out. So really happy about that. The e-course development, the online curriculum, that monetizing that towards high schools and colleges. So we definitely want to get that up and going. And then the soft launch for the web app and website for the 4 to 6 months is to complete those e-courses and negotiate with schools, try to get that in the works and everything, and then making those app and website updates from feedback. And then the 6 to 12 months is to launch the app and website officially, and then to manage the relationship with the schools and organizations that are using our online curriculum to making sure everything's running smoothly. And then our KSIs, our marketing KSI, key success indicators are going to be social media engagement, as I was talking about earlier, making sure our followers and stuff are constantly engaged and that we're actually growing, that we're, having some growth on our social media platforms. For our operations KSIs are going to be downloads and views. So downloads of the podcast, the app, the website. As long as downloads and views are growing, then we're doing great. Financial KSIs will be the college and high school contracts that we get with these organizations and schools, because if those are bringing in revenue, those are the college and high schools are going to be our biggest revenue generators. So if we have those going well, then the business will be doing pretty well with cash. And for our average revenue, so I just picked our premium app subscription, and that's going to be $4.99 a month. And we got this 150 from, we're predicting that we're going to have 500 people on the app when it begins the first month. And then we assume that 30% of that 500 would be a premium app user. So we got $4.99 times 150 is how we came up with our average monthly revenue forecast. And then for our cost of goods sold, it will really be depending on our Google Cloud base, our Google Cloud hosting service. So depending on the amount of users we have, it will be multiplying that by 10 cents. So every user we incur will be added, 10 cents will be added to our expenses for that user. And then, as I said, the sales for the month will be 150 users times the 499 a month to get that 748. And then our average monthly cost of goods sold is $50 because we're assuming that we're going to have 500 users on there. So that 500 times the 10 cents will get you that $50. And then for our fixed cost, we have just some podcast software, client relations management software, and data tracking systems. That will come to a total monthly fixed cost of $101. And then our average monthly revenue, as you can see. So, like I said, our average monthly revenue will be $748. Our cost of goods sold will be $50, depending on that Google Cloud hosting. And then the average gross profit will be $698. And then our monthly net forecast will be $597. And then how will we, our cash flow to manage our business? We're gonna have $499 for those monthly fees. The fixed costs are, as they are. And then it's a strategy to ensure cash bid on hand. We're gonna use our accounting software, QuickBooks, and our chief financial officer. And then, strategy on what to do with the net profits is to reinvest that right back into the business to accelerate growth. And then some of the fees and things we're gonna have, marketing, of course, is gonna be pretty big. We're gonna have phase 2 of the app where we're gonna be involving the investing portion where people can invest in app. The initial cost is $8,000, future updates, and then the startup cost so far has been $13,000. So we're sitting somewhere around 24,000. Funding sources, self-funding, sponsorships from us targeting high schools, college, and recent grads with financial literacy. That's a real big topic. So that's where we're gonna, get some of our funding from, grants and then investors. And that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for your time. If you please follow us on social media at FYI Fly. That is FYI. Thank y'all very much.
Great work.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Love that financial literacy. Woo.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so if anyone has any at least one quick question with Hassan before we move on to Sebastian, go ahead and fire away.
Hassan, this is Rebecca. I'm really curious how you arrived at $4.99 for the fee. Not $5, not $4.50, but $4.99. How did you get to that?
I just thought it would be a good fee because originally the app was going to be completely free. But what happened was I realized that we were going to incur a fee from one of our features on our app, which is going to be the save while you spend feature. So if you spend like $1.75, we'll round up that 25 cents and put it into your emergency fund, which we like to call peace of mind fund because we don't like to throw that negative connotation with emergencies. But
nice.
Thank you. So that's where that price comes from, to cover that price that is going to be charged to us when we transfer that money from your checkings to your savings account.
That's great. I'll try and hit you up in the networking because I got a couple ideas for you.
Okay, great.
All right, appreciate that. Beautiful. We have Sebastian next, and Sebastian, everybody's been looking for you on your screen. It says gray. I think that caused a little bit of confusion.
Yeah, it's not my fiance. She uses it sometimes, but so no worries though. Just know it's me. Get this all set up. So I have multiple monitors here. I'm gonna set this up. All right, got it. Awesome. All right, ready to go?
We're ready.
Cool. All right, so good evening, everyone. My name is Sebastian Figueroa. I'm the founder of the Figueroa team. We're a 100% Spanish-speaking real estate company here in Denver. Today we find ourselves with over 50% of Hispanics able to buy a home, but not knowing they can qualify. So our goal is simply to educate and empower our community through our services and provide the transparency, trust, and professionalism you will not find anywhere else. For more info, reach us at our website, Facebook, or call us. Awesome. All right, cool. So now looking into, sorry Sorry, it didn't show on my other screen. But anyways, yeah. So looking into our launch strategy. So the key is we're already up and running, right? So our number one goal right now is simply marketing, right? Growth, growth, growth. And to get that growth, most of it is coming from Facebook lead generation, that of which we'll cover a little more into detail when we look into our projections and all that. But that's our number one focus right now. Number two, which is our post-marketing campaign. Essentially, this is all about retaining our past clients and making sure they refer as a business. You know, as we know in our industry, in almost any other industry, you know, word of mouth is always going to be the most powerful form of marketing. Next slide, please. Awesome. All right. So our ongoing strategy. So the key thing is going to be building a loyal base, right? And we're looking at our 1-year vision. You know, we can really break this down into 3 phases. Phase 1, all about growth, right? We talked about all the marketing, and we found pretty good success with Facebook ads to acquire leads. So once again, that's our number one focus, because without the leads, we have truly no sales. And most importantly, this is going to give us the momentum that we need to keep us busy, keep us going. You know, stagnation is always going to be the number one enemy of our vision. Phase number 2, momentum is not going to stop at this point. You know, rather than take profits, we're going to keep investing back in the business and investing into the future. Phase 3. So after 12 months at this project, you know, we'll have closed around 15 deals year over year. And we'll begin to see some results from our post-marketing campaign. You know, we'll start to see some referrals coming in and our clients, you know, coming back to us. But, you know, once again, our strategy is 100% about growth, right? Just like Amazon in the early 2000s, we're all about investing today for better tomorrow. You know, they took 10 years to turn a profit. Next slide. Awesome. All right. So this is going to be super key to understanding all of our projections, right? So as far as KSIs, the most important thing we have to look at is first our cost per lead. If you can see the image right here on your screen, this is a screenshot of my Facebook ad account. You know, you see a lot of numbers, but I'll make it super simple for you. Essentially, at this moment, it is costing us around $10 to acquire a lead. You know, this is a person on Facebook putting in their information, you know, asking for more info, whether it is to, you know, buy a home, apply for a mortgage, or sell their home. But essentially, with these leads, we usually can expect about a 0.5% conversion rate. You know, we're being really conservative. The industry average is around 1 to 2%. But with that 0.5% conversion rate, you know, we'll typically find around 1 sale for every 100 leads. So I'll do the math for you. Looking at about a $1,500 cost per acquisition just to get a client. And then per sale, we usually get around $10,000 for a commission. So here's just the magic formula, right? For 100 leads, we'll typically find 5 appointments, you know, people that we're going to meet with. Not everyone's going to qualify. You know, things happen in life. Some people end up, you know, not coming through. It's not an issue. We'll usually see around 1 person close within that. Next slide. Cool. So to get a little bit more context, you know, we want to look at our current numbers. You know, we've been up and running already since September 2020. We've had 7 sales since then, resulting in over $70,000 in revenue. And throughout this time, you know, I've put in over $15,000 of my own money, testing out different marketing campaigns. I've tried direct mail, but most of it has gone through Facebook, as well as our CRM, you know, where we have all our leads that have come in. We have over 300 and some leads that we can nurture long-term, right? You know, we've only had these 7 sales, but from these people, we can expect a couple more to come out, right? The average person is going to take 6 months or so usually to make the move, get qualified and everything. Next slide. All right, cool. So as we know, typical commission we get per sale is around $10,000. We expect to keep this this rate of 1 per month. You know, our industry tends to be a little bit more seasonal, right? So in the summer months, we can get months where we get 2 or 3. December, January, sometimes we might not even get any. But overall, you know, when we're consistently spending that marketing budget, we can expect about 1 per month year over year. Next slide. Awesome. All right. So next we're going to look into our cost assumptions. So as we continue looking into our financials, we can see that obviously we're a service-based business. There's not a lot of expenses, right? Most of our expenses are going to come from marketing, which at the moment is around $1,900 a month. As far as cost of goods sold, it's just about $600 per transaction, right? And so what is this $600? Well, we're looking at $350 that we pay to our transaction coordinator. This is the person handling all our paperwork, making sure deal goes through smooth. Next, $250 set aside so we can make sure we have a nice gift for our client after we close, as well as maintaining the relationship after, by sending cards, continuously following up on holidays, 1 year anniversary of their close. But yeah, this is what we're looking at here. We can go to the next slide. Okay, awesome, cool. So profit assumptions. So just how we said, we can expect to see 15 sales within the next 12 months. Just how I explained earlier, it can be pretty seasonal. So summer months will usually get 2 per month, you could say. But as well, if we're going to look at our net profit. So cost of goods sold, 600. But when we look at our other expenses, I have an owner's draw of $4,000 per month. There's an expense for our appointment setter. So this is the person who is handling all our incoming leads, right? If I was the one handling all the incoming leads, I would have no time to be meeting with clients, following up with the key prospects. So this is an essential expense. It comes in at $1,000 a month. Next, miscellaneous fees. This is going to include gas, anything for the car, phone, internet, software, CRM, website, all that. So with all this in mind, monthly net profit, we can expect around $1,400. Next slide. Then here's just a little bit more of a visual so you can see, by the end of the year, we expect to have a net profit of around $29,400 and $140,000 in revenue. Next slide. Awesome. All right. So next, you're probably wondering, how are we going to manage all these costs, right? We're looking at thousands a month in marketing, employees. So essentially, in our industry, we typically can expect to have to wait 45 to 60 days to be able to get our money back, right? When we, finally find someone who's interested in working with us, it's going to take time to sell their house, or it's going to take time to find them the house that they're going to buy. Plus you have escrow. That's at least 30, 45, 60 days. So our philosophy really is always to expect the best, but prepare for the worst. So keeping that in mind, our major strategy is going to be keeping a good amount in reserves, right? We have $20,000 in reserves strictly for business, and at any time, if there's an emergency, a recession, interest rates go up, something crazy happens, I'm more than willing to put off the owner's draw for a couple months, whatever it be, just to keep the business afloat, right? Because at the end of the day, I know any of the expenses, it's going to go to marketing, right? It's going to be, we might not see it today, but we'll see it tomorrow. Next slide. Awesome. All right. So capital needs. As far as startup costs, we really don't have anything. We're already up and running. We have our website, we have our CRM softwares, all that stuff. And so far, so I explained basically all this has been funded by me, myself. But in order for us to reach our goals long-term, I know we're going to be needing more capital, right? At the end of the day, the more we put into marketing, of course we can expect have more sales. But, for sources of funding, we can also expect to be reinvesting any business profits straight back into marketing. We'll definitely be taking advantage of any opportunities with RMMFI as far as capital. And then as well, we're also working on building our business credit, right? You never know if we ever need a line of credit, whatever it be, to cover a month of expenses, or maybe we find an opportunity with marketing. It's always good to have money there in case something comes up. Maybe there's some opportunity with some local radio station or whatever it be, right? Always be prepared. Next slide. Awesome. All right, so we're almost done. Before we go, I'd really like to share one last thing. If you take anything away from this presentation, it is this: that good marketing brings you results, but great marketing is predictable, measurable, and most importantly, scalable, right? And that's what we found so far with our model.
Woo! Love that, Sebastian.
Excellent. Growth, growth, growth.
Sebastian, you're going to teach the
Good
next
job.
marketing class in boot camp, okay?
It's the Facebook ads.
Sebastian, well done. This is Felix. I have a question for you. It's more of a suggestion. Would you mind elaborating just a little bit when you were talking about nurturing clients long term? What does that look like?
Great question. Yeah. So when we look at nurturing, not only are we looking at clients that we've worked with, but also people who maybe are not ready to work with us today, right? Let's just say you were trying to sell your house. Most likely you're not looking to list it tomorrow, right? You maybe want to wait a month. You want to wait for your kids to get out of school, whatever it be. So in this case, it's essential follow-up, right? Making sure that we have letters going out, automated emails, text, stuff like that, or else you're going to forget about me. Some random guy's going to call you. You're going to say, oh yeah, I wanted to sell my house. You'll totally forget about me, even though I spoke to you first.
Perfect. Thank you. And that would, I guess, that also stand in your line of business. If somebody has a family, you sold someone a young family's home, maybe when their children grow up, they're going to want a realtor, and then they'll have that trust and confidence, right?
Exactly. As well as like sending Christmas cards, stuff like that. They're always going to remember us.
All right. That was just wanted that clarification. Thank you.
All right, great questions. Okay, great presentation. So we're getting ready for our next entrepreneur. I believe this will be the last one for the night. It'll be a short presentation this evening. Sonia, I'm looking for you on the screen here. I saw you earlier. You've been over there practicing. I saw you.
Okay. So my name is Sonia McKeon, and my company is Vedic Alchemy. I empower people to take control of their health by teaching them how to take care of themselves. So we take a food as medicine approach and work to change the habits in their lives in order to return vitality and help them thrive. So you're not just alive, you thrive. So next slide, please. So with my launch strategy, we tried to just make it very simple with like a 6-step to launch checklist. But really, I can kind of explain the nuts and bolts of it here. So in the beginning, a lot of my work is going to be toward automating things, research certain things around remedies, how-tos, videos, email campaigns, service contracts, all these things that I'm going to need to function. That's the biggest point of my work as of now. And then as that reduces, I'll be able to see more clients over time. So that's kind of my launch plan, is working on all of that stuff first, and then working to expand and get the brand out there. Next slide, please. So the objectives that I would want to finish really through the next year, I kind of made it 2 years as well, because there's going to be some additional education in there. Sorry, I'm trying to make this just a little bit bigger so I can read it a little. Big steps initially are just incorporate the business, build those contracts, get the website up, get branding, some really just basic structural things. And then working on creating like a social media audience where there's a connection and trust. There's almost like this relationship as far as what am I going to learn from this person today? So that's going to be kind of my focus. And then after that, I really find a lot of value in creating community and workshops and events and sharing information, because the more people know about this, the more they want to know. And so there's definitely a huge piece of education. So always just looking to see how I can serve others and educate them so they can learn more about Ayurveda. Next slide, please. So my key success indicators, simply put, my number one success indicator is customer satisfaction. That is the most important thing to me, because I do believe that everything else follows, specifically being in a service-based business. So naturally, customer satisfaction falls under the operations key success indicators, but also looking at customer retention, referrals, revenue growth, that kind of stuff, making sure that I'm hitting the target number of blogs and promotional videos. Looking back up to marketing here, just making sure that I am getting appointments, conducting appointments, and getting more appointments set. Seeing that if I make a post on social media, that there is engagement, that people like what I have to say. And then as time grows, the number of events that I have. On the financial side, really obviously just seeing that number grow, the revenue grow. But over time, I plan to add in more offerings. So I'm not just doing like one thing, one starter kit, which is kind of the starting point that we're at now. So adding in additional streams of revenue with additional offerings. Next slide, please. As far as my revenue assumptions, I had mentioned that we do plan to do this in 2 phases. So first phase is in the first 6 to 12 months, working on the consultations. That's kind of the unit that we're working with. So one Ayurvedic consultation, that's $175. And then the starter kit, which includes a lot of supplies needed for self-care. We can go into more detail at another time with that, but that would just kind of be something that people could either purchase or be part of a package that is available in phase 2. So phase 2 does include everything that phase 1 does, but it is just more expanded offerings over more time and more integration. Ideally seeing revenue go up as services expand. Next slide, please. So again, as a service-based business, I'm very fortunate that my cost of goods sold is very, very low. For my service itself, there is no cost for that. For these starter kits that I'm talking about, the cost is $120. So really that just leaves me for majority having profit, just because those costs are so low. So looking at, I'm sorry, this screen is really small. Let me try to make this a little bit bigger. So with web hosting, that's going to be a fixed cost. It's always going to be there. If I'm going to have an online business, I've got to have a website. With the service-based business, it's important to always have marketing. So I will, even as a very small business now, I will have a small marketing budget of $30, and that will expand as I expand, so proportionally. So there's always something being put into that. And then when it says workshops and training, that just means that I'm also attending other things. I'm expanding my horizons. I'm also learning. I'm being around other people that have been doing this longer, so I can make my offerings better. Next slide, please. So gross net profit. So we basically came up with the idea of doing 4 consultations a month, as well as selling one of the starter kits, which leaves us at the profit forecast of 362. In order to break even with some of the fixed costs that I mentioned, I essentially need to do 1.8 consultations a month. So we're going to call that an even 2. Next slide, please. For cash flow cycle, as Romalis has taught me, definitely good to be checking in with a business every 30 days, making sure that things are looking on the up, that things are paid. There's nothing outstanding. There's nothing that needs to be paid. There's no debts being accrued. However, as far as getting money for the services, if there's a consultation happening, there's an exchange of money immediately. If there is the starter kit purchase, there is the initial investment, and that the return on investment, and that could vary with time. Again, always just monitoring things and making sure that I'm staying afloat. And as of now, all of the profit, every bit of the profit is I plan to invest back into the business. Thankfully, I have the ability and fortitude to do that. And so that's where all of the money is going to be going essentially at this point. Next slide, please. So we decided, because this is a two-phase system, we decided to break this up into 6 months, really working with the first phase as of now. So biggest costs up front are going to be getting the website up, getting my brand. Thankfully, I have a friend in the biz that is going to work well with me in that situation, but it is going to be an upfront cost that we are anticipating. Then working on SEO, search engine optimization, since there isn't really a lot of information or a lot of people out there doing Ayurveda, I think that it would be important for me to come up to the top. So investing in SEO will be a huge thing, and that is another thing that will grow as my marketing budget grows. Again, web hosting, marketing, inventory. And currently I do have personal savings. I am working 50% of what I was, so that 50% of my time is going to the new business and 50% of my time is supporting that. I am considering doing the Rocky Mountain microfinance loan because of the initial big cost of the website. And then just renting my house is another way to supplement income at the moment. Next slide, please. So that is the nuts and bolts of this part of my business, but please feel free to reach out to me if you're looking for a way to come back to yourself and thrive in your life. Thank you so much.
Well, great presentation, Sonia.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Okay, all right. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And if anyone has just one quick follow-up question for Sonia before we move forward, we'd appreciate that.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say it really stood out that you are accounting for your own growth in your area of practice so that you don't become stagnant and you continue to grow. And I think that's super important and really smart to factor that in.
Thank you so much.
Great observation. Okay, if everyone has had an opportunity to fill out their scoring forms, just going to keep moving forward. This will be the chance to do the networking, the virtual feedback forum.